We already know the SNES Vault teams with genre classics, Super Metroid's atmospheric isolation, Chrono Trigger's time-bending epics, Street Fighter II's button-mashing ballet, but every once in a while, a title sneaks in, flings open the danger room doors, and dares you to survive a pixel-perfect mutant meltdown. Enter X-Men, Mutant Apocalypse, Capcom's 16-bit love letter to Marvel's merry band of outcasts, released in North America in November 1994. Is it a bizarre experiment in licensed platforming or a bona fide classic overshadowed by bigger Capcom franchises? Rhetorical question, who hasn't dreamt of channeling Cyclops' optic blasts with surgeon-like precision, only to accidentally vaporize 3 health pickups instead? Underrated or overrated? Undeniably essential for anyone who craves superhero spectacle beyond the glossy hyperbole of arcade fighters. Once you've vaulted through electrified floors as Beast, danced through card-charged carnage with Gambit, and faced Omega Red as a simulated danger room test, you'll wonder how you ever survived those cartridge-hungry afternoons without it. Strap in, dear reader, because Capcom just shipped 5 heroes, 2 boss gauntlets, and 1 cosmic confrontation onto your SNES, and it's about to get Mutant Meltdown messy. Historical context, Capcom's SNES tenure in the early 90s reads like a highlight reel of sprite mastery and gameplay innovation. Mega Man X showed us how to blend tight platforming with lethal buster shots. Final Fight turned city streets into side-scrolling brawls, and the Street Fighter II saga redefined home console fighters. Yet behind the scenes, the company was quietly negotiating one of its most ambitious licenses, Marvel's X-Men. By mid-1994, X-Men comics were ascendant, with The Fall of the Mutants and the nascent Age of Apocalypse arcs fueling renewed fandom, and Capcom seized the moment. While arcade doors prepared for X-Men Children of the Atom, a fighting game debuting in arcades after Mutant Apocalypse's release, console collectors found themselves with a different beast altogether, an action platformer that felt as if Capcom had rolled a CPS-2 board into the danger room and told the mutants to improvise. The game hit North American shelves in November 1994 at a retail price that hovered around $49.99, a steep ask for many, but justified by Capcom's pedigree and the Marvel marquee. By January 3rd, 1995, Japanese Super Famicom owners could import the localized cart, complete with translated menus but intact voice clip stings and a manual brimming with lore. European fans waited through 1995, often importing to bypass PAL slowdown, a savvy trick discussed in hushed tones on early online forums like SNES Central and Rec.Arts, .video, .games, .retro gaming. Retail demo kiosks in Tokyo's Akihabara district allegedly ran a limited build during the holiday rush, complete with a utilitarian training mode menu, the prototype's vestigial breadcrumb, but were quietly pulled after a weekend due to cartridge scarcity and an odd rumor of an unfinished danger room tutorial sequence. Producer Takuro Fujiwara, whose resume by 1994 already boasted Ghosts and Goblins, Mega Man X, and the then recent Demon's Crest, steered the project, bringing his signature blend of challenging gameplay and vibrant sprite work. Composer Setsuo Yamamoto layered the soundtrack with heroic brass stabs and brooding synth undertones that evoke Genosha's steel gray landscape one moment, and Xavier's lofty Cerebro chamber the next. Capcom's internal pitch reportedly emphasized mutant authenticity, commissioning Marvel Comics writer Chris Claremont to pen bios in the manual, each accompanied by art reminiscent of Uncanny X-Men number 268. Though whether Claremont's prose survived the localization line edits remains comic book speculation among collectors. This era was the high noon of 16-bit licensed games. Sega's Genesis had Wolverine, Adamantium Rage, and X-Men 2, Clone Wars, both emphasizing slashing mayhem and tight control, but Capcom's vision for Mutant Apocalypse was broader. 5 heroes, each with bespoke levels, powers, and narrative stakes. Rather than shoehorn X-Men into a single storyline, the game echoed the comic's rotating roster, letting players experience Beast's jungle roids in the Savage Land stage, then switch to Psylocke's Psychic Blade Ballet against Avalon's floating turrets. The result felt like a spoiler-free comic anthology, 5 standalone origin stories converging on one cosmic thread. On the marketing front, Capcom teased the game with full-page ads in Electronic Gaming Monthly and GamePro, depicting Cyclops' visor flare and Beast's crouching roar rendered in chunky 256-color glory. Street teams were dispatched to college campuses for midnight demo marathons, offering pizza slices shaped like X icons, an early example of experiential promotion that left PS1 demos in the dust. By mid-95, Mutant Apocalypse had sold respectably, enough to secure its slot in the Arcade Nut Marvel cabinet alongside its sister titles, but never never eclipsed the giants of Capcom's catalog, yet among die-hard retro collectors, it became a prized import, often trading hands for $70 to $100 on the second-hand market, inflated by shrine builders who demanded mint-condition cartridges for their curated collections. Looking back, the SNES showroom may have been awash in Mode 7 racers and Mode 5 RPG epics, but X-Men Mutant Apocalypse stood out as the console's most ambitious Marvel crossover, a single-player saga that bridged comic lore and Capcom's arcade DNA, then dared players to survive the training gauntlet known only as the Danger Room. Yes, that Danger Room. If you ever caught a glimpse of clustered SNES boxes in a border shop window with a gaudy red Danger Room sticker, consider yourself lucky. You were witnessing Capcom's gamble to turn comic book myth into button-mashing mayhem, and it just paid off in spades. Historical context, expanded memories. Cast your mind back to '94. I was elbow deep in Mortal Kombat button combos, yet on Sundays I found myself alternating between VHS tapes of X-Men, the animated series, and the elusive SNES import magazines, importantly, Game Fan's X-Men special issue, with interviews teasing Capcom's foray into the franchise. Hardcore arcade goers knew Capcom's CPS-1 and CPS-2 hardware could deliver blistering, multi-layered animations, and rumors swirled that the Danger Room stages in Mutant Apocalypse were direct downgrades of an unreleased arcade tech demo. Whether that's true or just midnight speculation over reheated ramen, the game's sprite work, complete with 12-frame attack cycles for Psylocke's psionic blade, felt richer than any fighter's Hadouken. Meanwhile, Marvel's own machinations played out. The comics were sold out on shelves, tie-in action figures flew off pegs faster than Logan's healing factor, and Capcom's license seemed bulletproof. Yet even as Marvel was planning X-Men Versus Street Fighter to debut in arcades alongside Mutant Apocalypse's console launch, fans speculated about crossover plotlines. What if Wolverine bits off a Sentinel head in a bonus level? Some joked. Capcom's project leads had to reassure marketing execs that no such level existed, quelling rumors that Mutant Apocalypse's code contained unlockable Sentinel cameo battles. Today, the historical niche of X-Men Mutant Apocalypse feels like a crossroads. It arrived when cartridge budgets peaked and licensed titles teetered between cash grab mediocrity and bona fide passion projects. Capcom bet on the latter, and while the game never spurred an SNES exclusive sequel, it did set the stage for more ambitious crossovers on arcades and next-gen consoles. In the grand tapestry of gaming history, Mutant Apocalypse's debut sits between two milestones: Capcom's late '94 renaissance of sprite virtuosity and the impending 32-bit shift that would render cartridge complexity mere nostalgia. Mechanics. At the heart of X-Men Mutant Apocalypse is a deceptively simple premise. Guide 5 mutant heroes through perilous stages, master their unique powers, and defeat Magneto's cosmic tyranny. Yet beneath the surface, Capcom wove a web of mechanical nuance that rewards experimentation and tactical foresight. You begin by selecting a character for each of the first 5 stages: Beast in the Genoshan Forest, Cyclops in the subjugation camps, Gambit in the flooded districts, Psylocke amidst Avalon's turrets, and Wolverine infiltrating the Sentinel factories. Each stage tuned to your hero's skill set. Beast level, with its vine-swinging platforms and spectral waterfall hazards, demands you leverage his agility by holding the jump button to cling to walls and pounce across gorge-wide gaps. Rhetorical question: who doesn't love watching a fur-covered brawler bound across chasms like a caffeinated chimp? Answer: me, when I misjudge a leap and tumble into bottomless doom. His Primal Roar special attack, triggered by a full mutant meter and pressing Y+ down, unleashes a shockwave that stuns lesser foes and clears debris blocking hidden alcoves. Cyclops' stage transforms the game into a tactical shooter. Charged optic blasts arc through multiple targets, but chip away at your mutant gauge, leaving you momentarily vulnerable. Enemies masked behind energy shields require a rapid-fire approach. Tap Y in quick succession to simulate machine gun bursts, while environmental puzzles use his visor refraction to activate consoles. It's part Contra-style precision, part puzzle platforming. You'll feel like a one-man tank on Pixel Parade. Gambit's flooded districts introduce physics-inspired momentum. Throwing charged cards ricochets them off walls and ceilings. A skilled player can loop combos by hitting the same enemy from multiple angles. Water currents buffet Gambit's leaps, requiring thrice-timed presses to maintain arc height, turning simple platforming into a slow-motion dance of blade and hydrodynamics. His ultimate mutagenic storm attack summons a blitz of explosive cards, perfect for clearing rooms, but knocks him back 2 full tiles, so use with caution. Psylocke's Psychic Blade Ballet feels lifted from Capcom's more acrobatic fighters. Aerial somersault slashes chain mid-air into multi-hit combos, rewarding those who can weave offense with evasive flickers. Her stage surrounds you with holographic projections, sub-danger room simulations that glitch if you spam input macros, a nod to Capcom's own fighting game cheat code codes that insiders still share in hushed forums. Wolverine's infiltration mission reintroduces stealth blurbs and brutal melee. His uncharged berserker slash cleaves through obstacles marked by red exclamation mark icons, doors disguised as walls, crates hiding mutant-enhanced serums, and his shoulder tackle bursts through electrified barriers when timed to their flicker cycle. Combine with his Feral Frenzy special, and you'll feel the primal thrill of arcade spree continues in the comfort of your living room. After the initial gauntlet, you unlock non-linear stage selection, choose any subsequent level, and pair it with any hero, a rare degree of autonomy for 16-bit era platformers. Suddenly, Avalanche-style difficulty spikes. Take Psylocke against Tusk instead of Wolverine, and you'll be praying for mercy. This emergent strategy layer demands you min-max strengths and anticipate enemy patterns, all while balancing the finite pool of lives and health pickups scattered throughout stages. Stage progression culminates in the Danger Room, where two boss gauntlets test your mastery. Omega Red, whose tendril grapples must be dodged with frame-perfect leaps. This boss has more iframes than a 3.5 ED and D-Monk. And Juggernaut, whose charge attacks require precise Duck Plus counter combos. Each simulation feels less like tutorial and more like gladiatorial trial by combat. The pixelated skies raining steel and mutant fury. Visually, the game pops with lush parallax layers. Genoshan factories glow with molten steel. Avalon's starboard corridors shimmer with interstellar menace. And toggle switch platforms flip with a satisfying chirp. Animations, 60 frames per second in key sections, remain buttery smooth even as Cyclops' blasts flicker across multiple enemy sprites. Yamamoto's soundtrack punctuates every moment with heroic trumpets and ominous chord progressions, the kind of score that sticks in your head long after the cartridge is ejected. In short, X-Men Mutant Apocalypse marries Capcom's arcade pedigree with Marvel's mutant panache, delivering a platform beat-em-up hybrid so tight you'll forget you're holding a 2-button controller. It's the SNES's Danger Room boot camp. No quarters required, just nerves of steel and the occasional scribbled password, legacy and influence. When the dust settled on Avalon's shattered turrets, X-Men Mutant Apocalypse left an indelible hoofprint or clawprint on licensed gaming. It proved that comic book adaptations need not be slapped on skins over generic gameplay. They could be bespoke experiences with narrative beats and mechanical fidelity to source material. Sega's Genesis would counter with Wolverine, Adamantium Rage, and X-Men 2, Clone Wars, functional but lacking the Capcom polish and roster depth that made Mutant Apocalypse a solitary highlight. Within Capcom's own roster, the game's design DNA echoes in titles like Marvel vs. Capcom 2, where tag team tactics mirror the strategic hero pairing in non-linear stage select. The Danger Room tests prefigure the versus mode tutorials and survival gauntlets that would become staples in future fighters, because nothing hones reflexes like battling Omega Red's tendrils at 60 FPS. Beyond Capcom, indie developers cite Mutant Apocalypse's level-gated narrative as an inspiration for modern Metroidvanias that juggle character-specific powers with free-roaming maps. Weekly Twitch streams hold mutant mod marathons, where viewers vote live on which hero tackles which boss, a community ritual born from the game's replayability. The password-driven save system, once derided as archaic, has found nostalgic revival in indie legacy games that emulate the challenge of manual save management. Meanwhile, Capcom's Marvel license blossomed into the Versus series, Doom-style cameo crossovers, and eventually the now ubiquitous Marvel Ultimate Alliance franchises, all tracing roots to early experiments like Mutant Apocalypse. Critically, the game still ranks among the SNES's top licensed titles. IGN placed it 78th on its top 100 SNES games list, proof that its blend of platform finesse, beat-em-up punch, and Marvel authenticity resonated beyond its cartridge era. Even today, collectors hunt original carts for pristine boxes and manuals, often paying upwards of $80, and the ROM hacking community continues to refine fan translations and save state patches, preserving the legend for future generations. In the pantheon of X-Men video games, Mutant Apocalypse remains a solitary beacon. 5 heroes, dozens of mechanics, and one grand question: can you survive the capricious wrath of Magneto atop his Avalon Fortress? It's the question that spawned 1,000 speedrun videos and hundreds of forum threads dissecting frame data for Crabhammer-style pixel punishes. Closing paragraph plus score. So should you dust off that SNES, breathe life into a cartridge coated with ghostly memories, and unleash pixel-perfect optic blasts on your couch? Rhetorical question: who wouldn't want to feel the kinetic zap of Cyclops' beam rumble through their controller? Answer: anyone allergic to 16-bit nostalgia. Good luck explaining that to your high-score rivals. Whether you're min-maxing which hero to send into the Savage Land or memorizing Omega Red's grapple patterns, X-Men Mutant Apocalypse delivers a mutant-fueled gauntlet worthy of Professor Xavier's highest expectations. It's an absurd dance of animation frames and Marvel mythos, where even a simple crate break evokes comic book cadence. Capcom's Danger Room on your SNES stands the test of time, a testament to the power of licensed synergy and pixel-perfect spectacle. Final verdict, 8.5 out of 10, docked half a point for the password-only saves. Capcom we forgive but don't forget, but uplifted by the pure exhilaration of 5 heroes, 2 boss gauntlets, and 1 unforgettable showdown on Avalon's Edge. May your mutant meter never run dry and your passwords always be scribbled legibly.